Good morning, Kahel Kadosh. Shavua Tov Mevorach to everybody. Today is Sunday, the 9th day of Adar 1, corresponding to the 18th day of February 2024. As we announced during Shabbat, we are welcoming today the volunteers of Zaka. For those who may not be aware of it, but unfortunately they have become very famous throughout the years, but specifically after October 7. Zaka is basically one of the leading organizations in Eretz Israel, or perhaps the leading organization in Eretz Israel that deals with the most painful moment of life. When lo aleno velo alechem, there are terrorist attacks, there are casualties, explosion, accidents, and matters related to unfortunate passing, and often through a very unfortunate and painful experience. They are the ones who really are in charge at all levels of clearing the area, cleaning the area, picking up the remains, human parts, picking up the blood, also for many obvious halachic reasons. Zaka is not a new organization in Eretz Israel. It has many years of history, and I'm afraid of asking how many individuals they have helped in the ultimate statement known as Hesed Shel Emet, a true act of kindness. Although we have many other wonderful institutions in Eretz Israel that deal with Hatzalah, with medical matters, helping matters, the way we have heard throughout the Shabbat, but this comes to the ultimate aspect of life, the transition to the next stage of our life. In Hebrew, Zaka is a Rashi Tevot that stands for Zihui Korbanot Ason, the identification of casualties. That is the literal meaning of the word Zaka. In English, they added search and rescue, but I believe that they do much more than searching and rescuing. They provide all levels of Hesed Shel Emet, of true act of kindness when the situation requires, and whatever it comes afterwards. I'm not going to ask how they feel and how they live life after they see what they see. I think that we all understand that there is perhaps an emotional level of pain and anguish, and probably they have debriefing, and probably they may even have PTSD, the way we call it in English, a post-traumatic stress disorder. I believe that's the Rashi Tevot that stands. But obviously, individuals that devote their life to deal with this level of unfortunate moments of life, I hope and pray that they do have a great siyata dishmaya, a great heavenly level of help to be able to help, to be able to recover, and to be able to continue. And obviously, it's our hope and prayer that, B'ezrat Hashem, never again situations that requires their services are never again happening. But as I mentioned, inside this Erev Shabbat, we have heard of a situation in an area very close to Kiryat Malachi. I think it's called Masmia, right? And we know the aftermath of what happened on Erev Shabbat. And lo aleno velo alechem, there is a lot of things going on, many of things that we know, many of things that we don't know. But today, I'll believe that I will take a step back from the daily class. I'm going to honor Simcha Greineman, which is a veteran Zaka, a volunteer, a commander in the city of Modi'in. I do know that there are more volunteers from Zaka visiting us today. So we say to all of them, Hisku ve'emsu, be strong, be courageous, because the Kadosh Baruch Hu is with you wherever place you go. So we're going to take a break from the usual class that we have, and I'm going to give over the mic to Reb Simcha here with us to hear about the holy work and be ready for a mature level of class, something that we don't get to hear, but you know what? Through all the busy weekend that we have had with us, with Atzalah, the next step, the survivor, and now Zaka, I think that it gives us like a better perspective of what's really going on in Eretz Israel and what we are able to do from here to help whichever way we can Ahenu Kol Bet Israel. So I'm going to give over the mic. You can put the mic on your head. We can turn the camera. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. That is
Yes, please.
being broadcasted live via iTorah.com. Bechavot. We are, for the Aventura audience, we are going to be broadcasting a video from Zaka, I believe from October 7th?
From October 7th.
Okay, from October 7th. Okay, we're going to try to play with the system. We are like a recording studio in front of us, to try to get the best experience through the audience. So for the iTorah audience, I hope you are able to see it and to hear it. And obviously for the large crowd visiting us, complete silence is required. And by Zat Hashem, we get to see whatever happened that day.
Maybe we shut the lights.
No, we're not shutting the lights. Keep it on so we are able to see. And please, I ask again, complete silence. Let us see and understand what is happening in Eretz Israel. You have questions. I don't have answers. They have answers. Answers and questions will be given the opportunity after they finish their presentation. Thank you so much for your understanding and cooperation.
We'll do it after.
Go ahead, doesn't matter.
We'll do it afterwards. Shalom Aleichem. Thank you for having us. My name is Simcha Greineman. I'm 47 years old. It's We'll try it afterwards. As I said, I'm 47 years old, father of 5, grandfather of 3. Baruch Hashem. On a daily basis, I'm a carpenter. Baruch Hashem, I have my own business. I have a zchut to train people to become self-supporting, to become carpenters, so they have parnasah. I'm a medic. For 32 years, I'm a volunteer in Zaka International. Zaka International, that means we go around the world. Doesn't make difference if it's a Jewish state or Christian state or even a Islam state. We go and we help the understanding of chesed and humanity to anyone around the world as creation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what we do. And for sure, for Am Yisrael, for our brothers and sisters. A year ago, we were in Turkey, helping over there after they had the earthquake. We were in Surfside. I was in Haiti after the tsunami, in Bombay, Egypt, different countries all around the world. Wherever we're asked to come to help, we come. We don't ask any reasons or what. On Simchat Torah, the happiest day of understanding what it means, the circle of life of a Jew, finishing the Torah and beginning right away. We don't never stop. We all the time finish and start, understanding the circle of life of a Jew, dancing with the Torah, bringing the children, the babies, everyone to be there, to be part of it, to understand what it means. And all of a sudden, my phone rings. I answer my phone as a medic, and on the other side is a major from the army. I served 27 years as a special force going around the world, Yechidat Chilutz, search and rescue from the army, from the IDF, as also part of Zaka, making sure that we bring the people to burial, mitzvah, the last moments of their life, the last moments that there are on the earth, on the world, before they go to Shamayim. Those last seconds that we have the zchut to bring them to be buried. I get the call and I'm asked to come to Sderot. Zaka has 4,000 volunteers. It's different divisions. I'm involved almost in all the divisions from so many years being involved. But as a small volunteer, I'm also in charge of the truck of Zaka. That truck is basically for when people sit Shiva. So I'm in charge to take the truck and bring tents, tables, chairs, Aron Kodesh, Sefer Torah, so the families could sit comfortable, whatever they need. I take care of that. That truck is not for collecting bodies. It's not refrigerated, but it's a truck. 3 years ago, we had a tragedy, a very sad situation in Eretz Israel, in Miron, that 45 people got killed over there. So I every year go with the truck. I bring different things over there they should have if they need. And I was called then to take 14 bodies in the truck to Tel Aviv, to Abu Kabir. That's the place at the morgue bring the bodies. Took me 3 months to just understand what I really dealt with, bringing 14 bodies in the truck. Motzei Simchat Torah, I had 72 bodies in the truck, from the floor to the ceiling. Bodies and bodies and bodies, understanding of how many people got killed. It's something that you could not understand. And this is only the few hours of beginning of Motzei Shabbat. Collecting one highway that basically normally takes 3-4 minutes to drive. Took us 5.5 hours to clean, to bring only the bodies. We're not talking about cleaning the scenes. Talking about only collecting the bodies. Making sure that everything is documented the right way. That it took 50 years to deny the Holocaust. It took 50 seconds to deny what happened. So we have everything documented. A lot of people say around the world, you don't have proof, you're making up stories. So first of all, I'm here. I'm the eyes. And I'm the person that dealt with hundreds of bodies. Hundreds of bodies. I was the one that spoke in the UN about women's rights, that the whole world was denying. Anything that happens in the world, in Africa or in different countries around the world, what happens with women, right away the whole world jumps out. Oh, what's going on? What? It happened in Israel. Nothing. Silence. For weeks and weeks. Until they brought me in, and I brought evidence, hard evidence. I was questioned hours and hours to make sure that I'm not making up stories. I had to bring my phone with me with all the pictures showing that I was the commander on the scenes, dealing with the situations, bringing the pictures of the victims. I was questioned. Who asks in the world? Someone, right away, they come, they make a whole fuss. But Am Israel, nah, nothing happened. Understanding what Am Israel was suffering and still is suffering now that we have 134 people still in Gaza. Men, women, children, babies are going through who knows what. The tsar, the understanding. The moments of Simchat Torah, it says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu yistakel b'oraita ubara olma. HaKadosh Baruch Hu looked at the letters, and through the letters, He created the world. He created humanity. He created the kindness of Am Yisrael, the arevut of Am Yisrael to all the nations around the world, understanding that without Am Yisrael, the world is not worth. But the understanding that we don't understand the minutes of hastara of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, those seconds, Moshe Rabbeinu leading Am Yisrael, the leader, out of Mitzrayim, going through the Yam Suf, going through the desert 40 years, going through hard times, Cheta Egel, everything. Moshe is all the time fighting for Am Yisrael. And we don't understand. But he doesn't come into Eretz Israel. It's a question. But the understanding that we don't understand, that's the highest level. Paraduma. There's no understanding over here. But there's no question. Because we are ma'aminim b'nei ma'aminim. Moshe emet v'torato emet. And everything that is written in the Torah is our understanding that this is how we have to live. Imcha ani b'tzara. Being together with the other when he has hardships. Being understanding. Ma shesanui alecha al ta'aseh lechavercha. You don't want anyone bothering you? For sure, don't do it to someone else. Being be'arevut ze lazeh. Understanding what it means giving to someone else. I was walking around in Kfar Aza with Rabbi David Lau, the chief rabbi in Eretz Israel. And we were walking, behind us was walking a father that lost his daughter and his son-in-law. Young children. And he was crying and upset. He was broken. And the Rav turned around to him and gave him a good hug. And as he was hugging him, he was saying, Lama, Lama, Lama. Why, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, why? The Rav did not stop him. But he said to him, he gave him a bigger hug. And he said to him, Tzaddik, you have to understand what you're looking at. And sometimes when you're looking at things, you do not understand the reason. And for sure, when you say lama, you don't really mean to say lama. Because sometimes you're not reading the letters right. Lamed mem hey could be pronounced lama, a question. And it could be pronounced lema. What's the purpose? HaKadosh Baruch Hu sometimes puts us in situations that they're hard to understand. But it's a waking call. Not why, but what is the reason are we alive? What was the reason that in this house it happened, in this house it didn't happen? What were their supposed to be mechaper what they're supposed to be mechaper. The understanding of the people that were in these places, some people don't understand. What do you mean? They were in a rave party. They were lefties. They were people that not shomer Shabbat, kashrut, nida. We can't connect to them. That's the biggest mistake. Because we are so connected to them. We're connected to them more than we're connected to other things. Because those minutes of understanding what it means to be Asara, Rugei, Malchut, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Ishmael, Kohen Gadol, they were killed because they were Jews. Harugei Malchut, it says that in the Zohar, that each one of them becomes a diamond under Kiseh HaKavod. By understanding that each one from Mekimi Me'afar Dal, from the bottom of ashes, to become the highest spirit of Kiseh HaKavod. That's what we understand. The people of Chesed Shel Emet, every person by us doesn't make difference who he is, but understanding that Kulanu Am Yisrael Arvim Ze Lazeh, collecting each one b'kavod, every drop, like it's a Efer Sefer Torah. It says that you have to bury every drop of the Efer Sefer Torah. If a Sefer Torah gets burned, that's our understanding. Every one of them is Kadosh Elyon. Doesn't make difference who they are or what they are. Now, they're the highest spirit. As Chevra Kadisha, the last moments of a person in this world, we clean the bodies, we dress them in the white garments, tachrichim, reminding them that they're walking towards the aisle like a wedding day. We dress them beautiful, they should be pure white. Day of a wedding is like Yom Kippur. They're clean from the sins. So that's the sins. So that's the reason we make sure that they feel that way, that they're coming before Melech Malchei Melachim. And in those minutes, when we deal with Arugei Kdoshei Elyon, we understand the difference between them and the regular person. We keep the garments with the blood on them. Because it says that Biyom, the day that Mashiach will be coming, HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes all the garments, the Melachim take all the garments of the people that were killed, Bizchut, that were Tzadikim. They were killed because they were Am Yisrael. Those people, their garments, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Melachim put them together and made a special garment for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it says, and that day HaKadosh Baruch Hu wears that garment and goes around and nokem nikma dam avdecha shafuch. That's the moments that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us back the strength of showing what the zchut of Am Yisrael, the understanding that we are the special nation, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. As we spoke before, this parasha is building the Mishkan, building the Klei Habayit. And it says, V'natnu, the understanding of the word, V'natnu. You could read it from both sides. What's the purpose of reading? As we said before, the letters have an understanding. Every word, every letter that Kadosh Baruch Hu put in the Torah, there's an inyan, there's an understanding. V'natnu, you could read it, as we said, from both sides. This is because when you give, you're getting. When you're hugging someone, someone's hugging you. There's always a two sides. When you are kind to someone else, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will be kind to you. When you're doing chesed shel emet, no one's giving you back anything but HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The families could say thank you, but the niftar can't give you anything back. That zchut is our understanding, and that gives us the strength to continue doing what we're doing. But when we have the hug of Klal Yisrael, you in America, some of you were able to come to Eretz Yisrael to see the scenes, but not everyone is capable to come. And not everyone has the strength to see the scenes. And I don't blame you, because what we saw and we dealt, Hashem Yishmor. What we're going through for our rest of our lives, knowing what we dealt with, understanding what we saw, it's things that you cannot imagine, things that you shouldn't imagine, things that you should never hear about ever again. But this is what happened in Eretz Yisrael. Am Yisrael. As we say, Zaka, as the Rav said, Zaka stands for Zihui Korbanot Ason, identifying bodies in situations that are horrific. That was until Simchat Torah. That's the way we used to do that. But we understood from Simchat Torah, the letters Zayin Kuf Aleph has a different explanation. Ze Kiruv Achim. We are the ones who united Am Yisrael, who gave the hug to Am Yisrael. A year and a half ago, Zaka has part of their units. We have lawyers, special lawyers that help the families in different situations. People that want to burn bodies, because that's their understanding. Me'afar bata el afar tashuv. So we have to burn the body. It's against the Torah. Because putting the person in the ground, that's me'afar bata el afar tashuv. But sometimes there's a misunderstanding in some of these hearts. So Zaka has a special unit of lawyers that helps the family. Sometimes there's a lot of lawsuits and stuff like that. So Zaka prevents for free for these families. We help them. A year and a half ago, we had a hard situation in one of the kibbutzim around Gaza, that they called us up, some member from the family, and he said, listen, they want to burn the body of the grandfather. Please help us. And it took weeks. We were fighting and fighting and fighting. And we did not have the zchut to be able to bring this person Lifi halacha. Zayin Be'adar is Yom HaPirato Shel Moshe Rabbeinu. Shalom. Moshe Rabbeinu was the first volunteer in Zaka. Everyone went out of Mitzrayim, took gold and silver from Mitzrayim. Where did Moshe go? To collect Atzmot Yosef. He started Zaka. He was the one showing us the way. Leave everything away and make sure that you bring the tzaddikim to burial in Eretz Yisrael, whoever is capable. But this family did not have the zchut. So on Zayin Be'adar, we make special tefillot, we fast, and we go to Bet HaKvarot, and we ask mechila, that we weren't zocheh to bring or to do it in the right way. So we ask mechila. We make special tefillot, we fast, we read Kriyat Torah in the afternoon, we make Shiurei Torah on that day. And at the end of the day, we make a Seudah Le'elu Nishmat HaTzadikim. The first family that called to say that they want Zaka should make sure that everyone should be buried in the proper way according to halacha was that family. Understanding what they felt and they understood what we did, what we connected to these people, how they felt from far away, before Simchat Torah Yom Kippur, Eretz Yisrael was ripped. It was very sad in Eretz Yisrael. Yom Kippur was terrible. What happened in Eretz Yisrael? And all of a sudden, the from people that care for Kvurat Yisrael, Kvura Lefi Halacha, came. And we took care of the families, made sure that they know where their children are, where their parents are. They could start sitting Shiva. They can know for sure they weren't captured to Gaza, or they are captured, but they know that. We were the ones to bring the understanding and to do it as fast as we could so they could start taking care of their beloveds, their families. We were the connection. We were the connection. We were in one of the kibbutzim. It was terrible. Going into houses that they threw grenades. It took us 18 hours to clean a room from all the blood. From everything was all around. The ceiling, the floor, the closets, the clothes, everything was full of blood. 18 hours. Not one person. 20, 30 people. Working in the house, taking the stuff out. The other guys outside are cleaning all the stuff. Working for hours and hours. Groups. Understanding what it means. Every drop is a Sefer Torah. Every drop do chesed. And at the end of the day, we collected all the bags. And we went over to the person that was in charge from the kibbutz. We took the key. We went to Bet HaKvarot. And we dug a big grave, and we put all these bags together, because according to Halakha, it has to be buried, but it doesn't have to be with the body, but it has to go to burial. So I'm walking towards the person in charge from the kibbutz. He's an old kibbutznik, shorts, a hat, a farmer, and with me is coming a soldier. A soldier that was helping us the whole day. But we're walking towards him, and he says to him, "You go away." So I looked at him. "You're talking to me?" I'm talking to him. She says, "The soldier, I don't want him here." I said to him, "Rabbi, hello, we're brothers." He says to me, "No, he's a traitor." I was like shocked. A soldier? So he says, "You need to understand that after the Holocaust, when we went through the kibbutzim, we said we had enough of Jews. We had enough. We're Jews. Good enough. We're Jews. We'll come to live in Israel. We'll be Jews. We have the land. We're Jews. Mitzvot, someone else will take care of that. But we live in Eretz Yisrael, that's enough." And we took the flag, and we took the talit, we took the stripes, and we said, "This is our symbol." Magen David, 2 stripes of the talit. We'll build a strong army. We'll be strong. We have the land. We control. 8.5 hours. They butchered us. They killed us. They did whatever they wanted to our women, children, adults. They killed us. And where was the army? Where were those soldiers that we built? And we were hoping that they will be our people to help us. And who came? You with the tzitzit. Zaka. You came and you took care of our niftarim. You made sure that our children are buried properly. The talit, we have that on our symbol, but we want your tzitzit on our flag from now on. And he was hugging me and crying and crying and crying. He understands what it means to be united. Am Yisrael has to be united. Has to be one. Yaakov Avinu, before he was niftar, Yosef brought Ephraim and Menashe. And there were already 12 shvatim. Yaakov said to him, "Li hem These two children are part of the Shvatim. They're all together, united, everyone together. And this is how we have to continue our lives. Living united wherever we are, in Eretz Yisrael, around the world. But we have to be strong, proud, standing up strong and saying, Am Yisrael Chai. When I was born into my family, I come from a special family. Baruch Hashem, I have the zchut. My name is Greineman. The Greineman is Chazon Ish and the Stipler. They were brother-in-laws from Reb Shmuel Greineman. He was one of the big mashpi'im in Chabad, and he was one of the chavrusot, the mashgiach, by Reb Moshe Feinstein in the yeshiva. When Reb Shmuel Greineman came to America, so the Chazon Ish went to Eretz Yisrael. The Chazon Ish did not have children, so he brought with him my grandfather, Rav Shmariyahu. He wrote all the books of the Chazon Ish, all the psakim and all the achot from the Chazon Ish. My grandfather wrote, because the Chazon Ish did not have children. When my father was born, Chazon Ish was sitting and learning. And when he was sitting and learning, nothing could happen. His head was in the Gemara. Everything, and people could walk by, and he didn't hear anything. And he was sitting and learning, and my grandfather comes into the room. The Chazon Ish stops learning, stands up, walks over to my grandfather, and he says to him, Mazel Tov, you had a boy. My grandfather was shocked. How does a rabbi know? And he says to him and continues and says, this boy will be called Zechariah. My grandfather was shocked. It's a Yamani name. We're Ashkenaz. How do you give a Yamani name to an Ashkenaz kid? But if the rabbi says, there's no questions. But he knew that his wife, my grandmother, it's going to be hard on her. So he asked Chazon Ish, what's understanding? Not questioning the rabbi, but what's understanding? So my uncle, Baruch, he was a child then. He told us a story again and again and again. My grandmother always used to say this story. The Chazon Ish, in these words, he said to my grandfather, Eliyahu Hanavi was by me. And he said, Nechamat Am Yisrael, Nechamat Zion starts with the Nevuot from Zechariah Hanavi. And this child, the Nechamot will start with him. My father was nifter when I was 5 years old. He was 30 years old. My father was a mashgiach in Esha Torah by Rav Noach Weinberg for 10 years. And when we grew up as children, we didn't understand what it means. My father's name, Vahimshechiyut. We said, okay, he was Machzir B'Tshuvah people. Those are his Talmidim. They're continuing to do Chazara B'Tshuvah. I'm a carpenter. My younger brother, he has the zchut to continue doing Chazara B'Tshuvah. What I do is I take people that are hard, they have hard situations in life, and I train them to become self-supporting. So I do chesed. Train them for 3-4 years, and then I fire them. No, I don't. I open them their own business. I make sure that they become carpenters. I help them to build their own. People say, you're crazy. I say, yes, I'm in Zaka. But I explain to them that HaKadosh Baruch Hu zanu mefarnes umechalkel. It's not mine. If it's mine, I'll get it. But the understanding that I help them to be able to have their own jobs and to be able to support their families and train them and help them opening their own business, HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishalem scharenu. And Baruch Hashem. Walking through Kfar Aza, one day, I get a hug from a person that runs towards me, and he's hugging me very strong and crying. And I say to myself, okay, Am Yisrael, give him a hug. So I give him a hug. A minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, a half an hour, and the guy doesn't stop crying. I say, okay, I'm not a psychiatrist, but and after a half hour of crying and hugging me, he says to me, do you know who I am? So I say, no. He says to me, I'm a Talmid from your father. And I was shocked. He says to me, now I understand what the Chazon Ish said. What was the purpose of explaining what it means to bringing the Divrei Geula of Zechariah, trying to unite Am Yisrael? We thought, that they have to be the continuation of my father to be Mekarev Am Yisrael. But I have the zchut of uniting Am Yisrael, going around the world, speaking to Klal Yisrael, making sure that these niftarim come to burial, the last moments of a Jew, to make sure that they get the proper, according to halakha. That's my zchut. And that's my connection to my father. 16 years old, when I started being a volunteer in Zaka, people told me, you're crazy. You're MT, okay. You're a medic, okay. We understand. But dealing with bodies or parts of bodies. So I explained to them that by doing chesed, I felt that I'm doing things that I understand. But doing things that I could not understand, that connects me straight to my father. And Baruch Hashem, I have the zchut. And Baruch Hashem, we have the zchut, sitting here together, being united, supporting each other, hugging each other, giving each other the strength to continue, being ready for chas v'shalom if up north. We never know what could happen there any second. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishalem scharenu v'yasir machala mikol Am Yisrael. And the soldiers should be strong and be able to come back. And all the people that are captured should come back safe and healthy. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send us, mitadvei Zaka, and soldiers and people that dealt with the situations, should have koach to raise our families. Because not only we are going through the trauma, our wives, our children, our co-workers, everyone around us in Eretz Yisrael is going through such a hardship. But we, for sure, that we saw these things with our own eyes. Shem Yazor. Should have siyata dishmaya. And bizchut Am Yisrael nivashea. Be'ezrat Hashem biyad goel mitzkenu. B'mera b'yamenu amen.
Okay, we're going to try something for a moment. Yeah, hello. Can you hear me? Hello, hello. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. So I think that we don't have to really add to whatever we just heard of the hidden miracles that despite the tragedy, they were able to witness and share with us. I think that the silence says it all. Not simple for them, for the families that we just heard. But there is a pasuk that we say whenever somebody is sitting Shiva, at least according to the tradition, we say, כאיש אשר ימות ינחמנו, כן אנוכי אנחמכם, ובירושלים תנוחמו. We say, like a mother consoles her child, also Kadosh Baruch Hu is the one that gives the nechama. So without a doubt, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives them strength to overcome this. I tell you from personal experience, when Chas v'Shalom, there is a levaya or a mizvah, the way it's called in Brooklyn, a burial, no drama, no terrorism, elderly person leaving the world, it affects us. Most of the day is gone. By the time you coordinate with the Chevra Kadisha and make sure that everything is done, Kedat Moshe Be'Israel, as we know in our Torah, there is something called Kavod Hamet. He mentioned about the concept of cremation before. Yeah, for many people, cremation is a very affordable. But we know that from a Torah perspective, affordability becomes secondary. Kavod Hamet, the honor to the person, because we value, not only we value life, we value also the body. And we have also this belief of Tehiyat HaMetim and everything that goes through. And obviously we're not talking about cases of Inquisition, crusades, the Holocaust, Chas v'Shalom, that these are matters which are beyond our control. But we go to a levaya, we come back stressed, we come back saddened, and that is without drama. So multiply that, just one case that Zaka had to deal with. Can you imagine 1,400 cases? These are the numbers that we believe were mentioned on the wake of the unfortunate tragedy. But obviously, I'm familiar with the holy work that they do. I saw them in action with the Champlain Towers collapse down the block in Surfside. I was here in Miami with the Hacham Shlomo Amar, that was the chief rabbi of Israel, and we were asked to go to Haiti back when they had the earthquake. Once the rabbi became aware that Zaka came, he says, Dayenu, let them go. They are malachim. They handle it better than we're going to be. We're going to be there. What we're going to do? Just give them words of hizuk, words of encouragement, which obviously they were given. But at that moment, the biggest encouragement may not necessarily be a word, may be the action. That's what the Mishnah writes in Pirkei Avot. Lo midrash ha'ikar ela ha'ma'aseh. Bottom line, they roll up the sleeves, they step up to the plate, and they do the holy work. For those who may have not been aware of some halachic ramifications, because it's not a topic that we usually talk about, but what he mentioned about the spending of 18 hours in a house picking up every speck of blood, that is actually an halachic requirement. Why? Ki hadam hu hanafesh, because the soul of the person lives throughout their blood. Separating the topics, but when we spoke in the past about the loss of kashrut. Why so much emphasis is made on the loss of kashrut? Because when the person eats, it affects the blood of the person. It purifies the blood of the person. The food is kasher. The blood that travels through our system, our heart, our brain is in a godly way. Hamavdil. Same thing happens with the blood of casualties. Even in hospitals, here that's something that we do have experience with, obviously in a much minuscule way. As I said before, I go to the hospital, okay, there is some blood, pick it up, be nice to the remains, the body is intact, no drama. Okay, the painful situation that somebody passed away, but most of the time is in a very clean, neat, organized manner. In these cases that we have heard, is definitely far away. But we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that gives a hizuk, because without having that godly level of hizuk to Zaka and also the other volunteers of the Hatzalah responders, etc., they see what we don't know and we don't see. Perhaps the closest may have been Hamavdil, watching a movie that has a special effects, unless with the exception of our dear sergeant here visiting us today, that he has a lot of experience in the concept of law enforcement as well, that they get to see things that we don't see, and we hope and pray that we don't have to come across this type of situations. But who knows? HaKadosh Baruch Hu may have a special plan. Like he said before, sometimes you save people's lives with a Torah class. Sometimes you save people's life by being there in the moment that they need it the most. We don't understand the ways of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Pasuk writes at the end of Sefer Devarim in Perashat Nitzavim, Hanistarot LaHashem Elokeinu. As I said before in the past, I'm sure that we all have questions. Why these things happens? Why did it happen? How could it be the day of Simchat Torah, etc.? And again, the Torah says, Hanistarot LaHashem Elokeinu. These matters really belong to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. והנקלוט לנו ולבנינו עד העולם לעשות את כל דברי התורה הזאת. But what is revealed to us for eternity is to continue. To continue, the Pasuk writes in the Navi, איש את רעהו יעזורו ולאחיו יאמר חזק. We help each other, we hug each other, we support each other. And therefore, I take the opportunity to say that Hatzalah or Mehila, Zaka, obviously they try to save those that can be saved. But the reality is, and I'm not sure if I'm wrong, but if Zaka gets involved, it means that now it comes the second aspect of life. Kavod Hamet. Hesed Shel Emet. The Torah calls it Hesed Ve'emet. Al na tigbereni b'Misraim. The concept of Hesed Shel Emet comes from Yaakov Avinu alav shalom. Those are the words that Yaakov Avinu says. Now, why is it called Hesed Shel Emet? He may have said it, but I'm going to finish with this. When a person does an act of Hesed, there are many things that happens. First of all, when we do Hesed, the Hesed reciprocates back to us. You know, he mentioned about Perasha Kitisa, correct? You mentioned the word that says Venatenu, right? That can be read right to left, left to right. In English, I think it's called a palindrome. What, Professor Mark? Palindrome. Okay, close enough. Yeah, don't worry about it. No, it doesn't mean a herringbone. That's something else. That means that when you read the same word, right to left, left to right. For example, in the word in Hebrew, Ima, Aleph, Mem, Aleph, same thing. But I'm going to say something. If you look, it depends which nusach, because according to some places in the Nevi'im, it has the Yod in between. So we'll save the Devar Torah for some other time, Sadiq. But I like maybe to add one more concept, and feel free to use it, okay? You can use it. So the Pasuk writes, Venatenu, okay? Now, we know that according to the Torah reading, Sephardi or Ashkenazim, we have ta'amim, we have tropes. So in the Sephardic tradition, we have something called Azla Gerish. Azla Gerish, it goes like this, Azla Gerish, like this. This is the sign. So if you look here, Benatenu, the Torah is telling us, when you give, that's the motion of giving, comes back. Give a kick. Venatenu. Venatenu. When you give, you get. That's the meaning of this pasuk. And you can see it here for the audience. The tam in the word venatenu. Venatenu, azla gerish. So here we can also give them. Besides Hizuk, besides a nice breakfast in their honor, besides hugging, but they can also benefit. I believe that I read an article while this was going on, that they ran out of supplies. They ran out of supplies. Now, what supplies? Body bags. Emet or no? Cleaning products to pick up the blood. Do the calculation. 20 people, 18 hours in a house. How many hours is? Do the heshbon. 360 hours to clean in a home. Yeah, and again, Israel homes are not condominiums in sunny Florida. Mamash. But Senoim, la Senoim Chokmah. So there is a barcode on the flyers, and there is a barcode that is being around, and I'm sure that I'm not sure how many of us would like to volunteer for Zaka, in the field, but definitely I'm sure they always need for volunteers, because I think that they do need debriefing and whatever. I mean, again, I'm not a professional in the field, but I understand, more or less from the traumatic experience that they see and they experience. But one thing that we can do, and this is help them, donate. So B'ezrat Hashem, for those who get the class via email or via WhatsApp, I'll add the link to donate. For those that are here in the room, take your cell phones, very simple, scan the code. They have a QR code that gives you directly straight to the page to be able to donate. You can give more, Hazaku Baruch. You can give less, Hazaku Baruch. But at least from our 6,000 miles away from Eretz Israel, that's the least we can do to be mishtatef, to be associating. Remember one thing, that Zaka workers are volunteers. Are volunteers. I'm not asking how is the carpentry business doing, because from Wall Street it's closed. I figure that. Okay, for 4 months his business is closed. But guess what? I'm not worried. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, in Perashat Re'eh, where Olam says, you take care of my needy, I'll take care of your needy. Who are the needy of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Yetomim, Almanot, the widows, the orphans, the destitute. So where Olam says, you take care of my needy, I'll take care of your needy. So B'ezrat Hashem, we say to the Zaka representatives here, Hizku Be'imsu, they should be strong. They should have the courage to continue in a happy way. And B'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yomar Dai Lesarotenu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will say enough it's enough. It's time to say goodbye to the galut, to terrorism, and B'ezrat Hashem we should be zocheh to the Yeshua for all of Am Israel. Amen. So please, Kahal Kadosh, don't be shy. Here is the QR code, which I will post for everybody that is a recipient. Okay, I think we may be able to now. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna shut down my microphone. Okay, we're gonna turn the video for the iTorah audience to be able to watch the video. This is from, which video is this from? October 7, Zaka. Okay, so I'm gonna lower I'm gonna shut down this microphone. Okay, Professor? Okay. We know that the QR for some people may be challenging. Do not worry. There is a credit card machine waiting for your credit card to be slid. And B'ezrat Hashem, the zechut of the tzedakah, expedite Mashiach's arrival. Amen.
שש וחצי בבוקר, מוקד זקה שמאויש על ידי גוי, מחייג אליי, אומר לי, יש משהו חריג, תנסה לראות מה קורה. עצמרים, יריות, חדירה, יצרתי ישר קשר עם החמ"ל, ואף אחד לא ידע מה קורה. לקראת השעה 10 בבוקר, כבר הבנו שיש אירוע גדול, יצאו צוות ראשוני מאזור אשקלון ומאזור אשדוד.
I called up two of my volunteers in Ashdod and they joined me, went into the car. I couldn't even tell for my kids and my wife anything.
עם צאת שבת והחג, כ-180 מתנדבי זקה יצאו לזירות השונות.
עכשיו, תוך כדי התקפות, ואלה שמבטיחים אותנו אומרים, ירי צלפים, משקדים על הרצפה. עד שמאשרים לנו לקום, 5 דקות, 10 דקות. ואז אנחנו ממשיכים לעבוד. סיימנו את שלב הפינוי, אנחנו כרגע בביצוע הניקוי, מנקים, כדי שהטבעת והשעון והארנק, כשהוא חוזר לאמא, או לאבא או לילדה, לא יהיה שם טיפה מהזוועה שהמשפחה שלהם עברו. הנכס האמיתי שיש לארגון זקה זה המתנדבים.
יוצאים לכביש 232 משדרות לכיוון בארי, בכביש של 10 דקות נסיעה. כ-80 מתנדבים כל היום, מהבוקר עד הלילה. עוד מטר, עוד גופה, עוד גופה.
And my truck was loaded with 72 bodies, and that wasn't the end. It was just the few hours of starting to collect the bodies.
Never in my life, I thought 55 years and then 33 years in Zaka, never in my life I thought that I will be loading up truckloads of bodies. It was a nightmare.
אמנם אנחנו עדיין כאן, נוגעים במראות, שוטפים את הידיים עם דמעות, אבל זה ממקום שאנחנו מסתכלים למשימה בעיניים ולא למראות בעיניים. והדבר הזה ראוי שיחרט ויסופר בספרי ההיסטוריה, גבורתם של מתנדבי זקה, שעבדו יומם ולילה, בחירוף נפש, תחת אש, ולא מוכנים לוותר עד שתושלם המשימה.
4 weeks after the disaster, we are still going house by house, looking and cleaning up the blood.
אנחנו מסתובבים פה בתוך הקיבוצים, ברחובות של בארי, כפר עזה, רעים, ואנחנו מרגישים את המוות בכל מקום. הריח הזה של הנרצחים, הריח של הגופות החרוכות.
כל בית יש סיפור קשה שהמוח האנושי לא יכול לתפוס ולקלוט איך חיות אדם מסוגלים לעשות את הדבר הזה.
אני מגיע לשם ואני רואה מתנדב מגיע אליי, הוא אומר לי תיקח, מרגיש לי ככה בידיים, תינוק, אולי בגיל של הבת שלי, שנתיים פלוס. אני מרגיש את היד, אינסטינקט לקבל, ואני לא מוכן לזה, לא נפשית, לא פיזית. התחיל לראות לי ככה הידיים, אני מחזיק את התינוק, אני אומר לו, מה אתה מביא לי? הוא אומר לי, אני גם לא יכול להחזיק את זה. והתינוק היה רותח. ואני זוכר שהוא פותח מיד שקית, ואני מכניס את הידיים עם התינוק פנימה לתוך השקית. הוא סוגר את זה, וככה אנחנו הולכים לאמבולנס, ושתינו בוכים. And I see these two little kids are burned to their bones. There's nothing left from them. And we take them out of the parents' hands. We lay them down on the floor. And we put them in the bags. And every bag that you walk out of the room, you see the cake standing there. The happiness that they had before.
What we saw over there on the wall was written with blood. Shema Yisrael. That's it. Because they couldn't further because they were killed already.
אנחנו כמתנדבי זקה קיבלנו החלטה שלא נעצור ולא נעזוב פה את המקום עד שלא נביא את כל הקדושים לקבר ישראל. ואנחנו לא נשקוט. כל טיפת דם שיהודי שנרצח פה יגיע לקבר ישראל. ואם זה יהיה חודש וחודשיים וכמה שזה יצטרך. מתנדבים לא יוותרו ויבואו לפה יום אחרי יום. יעברו קיבוץ קיבוץ, יישוב יישוב, בית בית, רכב רכב. כל איפה שהיה יהודי שנרצח, אנחנו נביא את כל הדברים לקבר ישראל.
We're doing it for Klal Yisrael. This is our mission, and we promise we'll finish our mission. Am Yisrael Chai.
שש וחצי בבוקר, מוקד זקה שמאויש על ידי גוי, מחייג אליי, אומר לי, יש משהו חריג, תנסה לראות מה קורה. פצמ"רים, יריות, חדירה, יצרתי ישר קשר עם החמ"ל, ואף אחד לא ידע מה קורה. לקראת השעה 10 בבוקר, כבר הבנו שיש אירוע גדול, יצאו צוות ראשוני מאזור אשקלון ומאזור אשדוד.
I called up two of my volunteers in Ashdod, and they joined me, went into the car. I couldn't even tell for my kids and my wife anything.
עם צאת שבת והחג, כ-180 מתנדבי זקה יצאו לזירות השונות.
עכשיו, תוך כדי התקפות, ואלה שמבטיחים אותנו אומרים, ירי צלפים, נשקדים על הרצפה. עד שמאשרים לנו לקום, 5 דקות, 10 דקות. ואז אנחנו ממשיכים לעבוד. סיימנו את שלב הפינוי, אנחנו כרגע בביצוע הניקוי, מנקים כדי שהטבעת והשעון והארנק, כשהוא חוזר לאמא, או לאבא או לילדה, לא יהיה שם טיפה מהזוועה שהמשפחה שלהם עברו. הנכס האמיתי שיש לארגון זקה זה המתנדבים.
חוצים את כביש 232 משדרות לכיוון בארי, זה כביש של 10 דקות נסיעה. כ-80 מתנדבים כל היום, מהבוקר עד הלילה. עוד מטר, עוד גופה, עוד גופה.
And my truck was loaded with 72 bodies, and that wasn't the end. It was just the few hours of starting to collect the bodies.
Never in my life, I thought, 55 years and then 33 years in Zaka, never in my life I thought that I will be loading up truckloads of bodies. It was a nightmare.
אמנם אנחנו עדיין כאן, נוגעים במראות, שוטפים את הידיים עם דמעות, אבל זה ממקום שאנחנו מסתכלים למשימה בעיניים ולא למראות בעיניים. והדבר הזה ראוי שיחרט ויסופר בספרי ההיסטוריה, גבורתם של מתנדבי זקה, שעבדו יומם ולילה, בחירוף נפש, תחת אש, ולא מוכנים לוותר עד שתושלם המשימה.
4 weeks after the disaster, we are still going house by house, looking and cleaning up the blood.
אנחנו מסתובבים פה בתוך הקיבוצים, ברחובות של בארי, כפר עזה, רעים, ואנחנו מרגישים את המוות בכל מקום. הריח הזה של הנרצחים, הריח של הגופות החרוכות.
כל בית יש סיפור קשה שהמוח האנושי לא יכול לתפוס ולקלוט איך חיות אדם מסוגלים לעשות את הדבר הזה.
אני מגיע לשם ואני רואה מתנדב מגיע אליי, הוא אומר לי תיקח, מגיש לי ככה בידיים, תינוק, אולי בגיל של הבת שלי, 2 פלוס. אני מגיש את היד, אינסטינקט לקבל, ואני לא מוכן לזה, לא נפשית, לא פיזית. התחיל לראות לי ככה הידיים, אני מחזיק את התינוק, אני אומר לו, מה אתה מביא לי? הוא אומר לי, אני גם לא יכול להחזיק את זה. והתינוק היה רותח. ואני זוכר שהוא פותח מיד שקית, ואני מכניס את הידיים עם התינוק פנימה לתוך השקית. הוא סוגר את זה, וככה אנחנו הולכים לאמבולנס, ושתינו בוכים.
And I see these 2 little kids are burned to their bones. There's nothing left from them. And we take them out of the parents' hands. We lay them down on the floor. And we put them in the bags. And every bag that you walk out of the room, you see the cake standing there. The happiness that they had before.
What we saw over there on the wall was written with blood, Shema Yisrael. That's it, because they couldn't further because they were killed already.
אנחנו כמתנדבי זקה קיבלנו החלטה שלא נעצור ולא נעזוב פה את המקום עד שלא נביא את כל הקדושים לקבר ישראל. ואנחנו לא נשקוט. כל טיפת דם שיהודי שנרצח פה יגיע לקבר ישראל. ואם זה יהיה חודש וחודשיים וכמה שזה יצטרך. מתנדבים לא יוותרו ויבואו לפה יום אחרי יום. יעברו קיבוץ קיבוץ, יישוב יישוב, בית בית, רכב רכב. כל איפה שהיה יהודי שנרצח, אנחנו נביא את כל הדברים לקבר ישראל.
We're doing it for Klal Yisrael. This is our mission, and we promise we'll finish our mission. Am Yisrael Chai.